Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Monster Strike, let's keep going through the elements. Let's look at the top non-limited Hatcher monsters. And then this could come in handy for the 6th anniversary, because there might be a Hatcher where we can select characters. And then I think in most cases we're going to want to go for limited characters. But if they don't appear, we can look at the non-limited as backups. And then there's no particular order to these picks, but as we go further in the video, generally the ones that I like better are the ones that are towards the end. But yeah, let's start with Zuka. And I use him all the time instead of Ariel. I find him much more interesting, but he is a Pierce with a no gravity barrier and no damage wall. And then he has a new bump combo. It's like a slice and dice, but it's like more powerful, and then it like travels out like the marking laser, and then attacks that character there. And it has kind of a large area of effect, so it can hit a few guys. And then he also has the super defense down blast, which has been one of my most favorite recent bump combos. And then Strike Shot is interesting. It's a tackle, but then he also goes into counterattack mode. So, you can put him next to a boss, and then later turns, he takes damage, he'll counterattack with that defense down blast, and then also his bump combo. And so yeah, you'll get higher damage from his counterattacks. And then stats are pretty crazy too. Very, very high speed. And then a good attack with the gauge that's maybe 33,000. But yeah, pretty strong and a fun character. I hope they give Ariel a buff soon. She's one of the few limited characters that I would say would not be worth selecting if she appears. Okay, next is a personal favorite. I used to like him even before he got his Transcendent form, but that is Seimei here. And he's kind of specialist now. He is a bounce with the Minesweeper Null Warp. And then Light Slayer. So you want to use him in light quests to get more damage in there. I used him in level 15 of the Kinky. If you can get the appearance from Setsuna, he'll do extra damage in there. You can also use him in Yashamyo. He's one of the best characters for there. Bump combo is fun. It kind of references like his magic powers, but he's got the pentagram laser and then the energy burst, which will burst at the 5 points. So very, very cool design there. And then a poison strike shot, which is kind of good, but I prefer strike shots where you move, so you can set up bump combos and pick up hearts or whatever. Okay, next is a character that is very funky, even compared to Seimei, and that is Hara. There's one reason that you want to use her, and that is for her strike shot, which gives your teammates that you hit power up. So that's like the old characters like Dear Latte, but now you can use it in a 6-star Hatcher monster. So you can kind of experiment with this. Maybe experiment with like gauge skips or that kind of thing. But she's a funky character. I think this is not a character I can recommend to everybody. But yeah, if you did want to experiment with that strike shot, you could go for her. But looking at her abilities, she's got the flight and super no gravity barrier. So she'll get extra speed going through the gravity barriers. And then she has the gives barrier, which is very interesting for a non-limited character. Other characters that have this are like Mana Ascension, but if you hit your 3 teammates, last character that you hit will get the barrier, and that's pretty powerful an ability. She also has the Gives Flight ability, which works the same way. The 3rd teammate that you hits picks that up, but it's so difficult to use that I wouldn't recommend even like thinking about using that. But yeah, Hera, kind of a fun, funky character. Okay, next up is a super not flashy character, and that is Diamond. A lot of people compare him to Arthur, and then pretty favorably. But he's a bounce with the null damage wall, null warp. So he lacks the null gravity barrier that Arthur has, but you could certainly use this guy in gravity barrier quests, and then use him for his more kind of support abilities. But he has the Scramble Laser, which is fairly strong. I think he's the first one to get the L version of that, but he also has a new ability called Bump Combo Boost. So it essentially makes him a blast type, but he has crazy stats of a transcendent balance type. And then defense up, that's nice, fits with his diamond motif. And then strike shot is reveals the boss's weak points, so another nice support ability. So yeah, if you wanted a character with a little bit more nuance than Arthur, then you could certainly use Diamond. I think he's pretty fun. Okay, next is an X-Flag character, and that is Mu. And I'm still surprised that he is as good as he is. But he is a bounce with a single null, super null gravity barrier, and a power type. So yeah, he has 2 strikes against him, single null and then slow speed. But he's so good that you can bring him even to like warp quests and then just deal with the warps because his attack is so high. And then he's got the super null gravity barrier, so he gets the speed up. Bump combo is also pretty good. Super homing 6, that's whatever. But he has a hit all poison meteor, and that has nice synergy with characters with the Poison Slayer. Probably the main reason to use Mu is for his strike shot, which is like a super homing. Does crazy damage. It even explodes homing absorbers, so yeah, there's no place where you can't use it, basically. But he's another funky character, and also very strong, pretty fun, lives up to his X-Flag billing. Okay, next, let's look at a very funky character, but also fun, and that is Nyoibo. This is Son Goku's rod. But also crazy stats. He is a power type, and then a pierce with the flight null block. That's kind of a rare double null. Also has the weak point Slayer. That's very nice with his super high attack, and then it's a passive skill as well. So it will go into his bump combo, which is the super wave. I think he's the first character to get this. But even as a power type, it's very powerful. I would highly recommend giving him a sidekick Ableberry. And it's kind of tricky to use. You know, it comes out at a perpendicular angle that you hit him. But if you can get this into the boss's weak point, it's going to be major damage. And then Strike Shot is a 8-turn becomes a bounce Strike Shot. This is one of the funkier, I'm using that word a lot, but one of the funkier Strike Shots out there. But as we've seen in Adabuda, if you use this well, it can be very powerful. And then he gets a lot of speed from this. Even though his speed is only 300, he gets a lot faster when he becomes a bounce for some reason, so go figure. Okay, speaking of Adabuda, is Hibiscus. And then, yeah, any character good for Adabuda would be worth picking up, because Adabuda is one of the best drop monsters in the game, and therefore one of the best max looks in the game. But Hibiscus might be the best one in there. But she's also good outside of that mission as well. She's a bounce with flight and null block, again, kind of a rare double null, and then the Dark Slayer, that is passive in her. And then she's a blast type on top of that, so her bump combos are going to be pretty crazy. She has the Kidan, that's a single, kind of like a Hadouken shot. If it hits like a weak point or something, it's going to do a lot of damage. It's probably going to take down any dark little guy that it hits. And then the other bump combo is the Tribal Pulse, so it'll go out towards the nearest enemy and then do damage to everybody on the screen that is the same class. Also pretty big damage there, also gets the Dark Slayer. Her too I would recommend Sidekick. Maybe also Kin Strength, just so that her direct attacks do more damage. And then her Strike Shot is also kind of crazy too. It's kind of similar to Nostradamus or Setsuna. But every target that she hits during her movement will get a piercing shot, and then the damage from that's pretty high, so yeah, very strong unit overall. Okay, next up, I talked about this guy earlier, but that is Tokamikazuki. I even talked about him in the Wood video. But the main reason to use him is for his Strike Shot. He becomes a Pierce, and then he does super damage, and then slows down like immediately. If you've used Damiaru, then you know what this can do. But he's a lot of fun. You can use this Strike Shot in both high-level quests and low-level quests. High level, just because it does so much damage. Low level, because it charges up very quickly. And then maybe you can skip gauges on like easy, like, you know, extreme quests or whatever. So my Tokamikazuki, he has the Kin Strength and then the Strike Haste. I might want to give him Sidekick as well. His bump combo is pretty good for a power type, but he's got the Super Lightning. That's a single hit for 150,000. That's pretty strong. And then the Chain Lightning, which is still good as a power type. As for null abilities, he is a bounce with a null damage wall, null block. And then he has the weak point Slayer M. So if you can get him next to a weak point, of course, that's going to be lots of damage. And then when you're using his strike shot where he becomes a pierce, of course, you want to aim for the weak point. So yeah, very, very strong character. The playstyle is not for everybody though, so yeah, keep that in mind. Okay, next up should be no surprise to anyone, but that is Arthur. She's kind of the queen of the extreme quests, I would say. But triple null, no gravity barrier, no damage wall, no warp, so she can go to a ton of quests. And then bump combo is very easy to use and very strong. To lock on one-way laser EL, and then the all enemies lock on laser, so you can just park her, get those lasers out, do good damage. And then strike shot as well, very easy to use. It's a point and shoot, shoots out a cross laser that rebounds around, and then hits everybody with swords, and then they blow up, so pretty strong. She's not good for a lot of high-level quests, but for medium to easy, there's few characters that are as good or versatile as her. Okay, next up is kind of a character that's the opposite, and that is Arikiel. You're going to use her just for her bump combo, which is kind of medium range. But it's the Super Flare, which is one of the best bump combos in the game, and she is a blast type. So yeah, definitely give her a sidekick Abelberry. And then just like, park her, doesn't matter what the gimmicks are, and then just get that bump combo out, you can do crazy things with her. But to talk about her null abilities, she's got null wind, null block. So yeah, she won't lose her positioning from wind, and then with block you can move her where you need her to go, and then get that bump combo out. Strike shot is also pretty good. It's a tackle plus laser, but it does more damage than an 8-turn strike shot should do, so yeah, definitely get her if you have not yet. Okay, and then the last character I'm going to talk about is one of those new Transcendent forms that just come from the new event hatchers. And then I've said this in other videos, but you can pull almost any of them, and then you'll get a good character. But the one that I want to talk about here is Watson. Maybe you saw this one coming. But she's a Pierce with the Minesweeper null damage wall, so she's a great partner with Setsuna. And then she's got the copy bump combo, which is one of the most powerful bump combos in the game. She can copy Setsuna's Hold-In at full strength, Mana's Involute Sphere at full strength, whatever you can think of. Strike Shot is okay, it's a speed and power up and then heals on end. But this is actually pretty helpful on Kinky 25, where there's lots and lots of damage coming at you. So yeah, you can definitely use her for high-level quests, like the Kinky, or just for farming for medals or whatever, just because she has so much damage output. Okay, so that was a look at the light, non-limited characters that would be worth picking up. And light is also pretty strong. I said this about wood as well. You can't go wrong with many of these characters. Oh, I also forgot to talk about Baby Ark. I've never used her, I've never really seen her used in action, but a lot of people really like her. She's got a good reputation. But yeah, those are my picks for light monsters. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.